If you're struggling against the stress that blocks your success, knowing you have potential, but feeling that something invisible is sabotaging your results, you're about to discover why this happens. The difference between those who achieve greatness and those who settle for mediocrity is not in intellectual capacity or the opportunities they receive. It's in a truth that only 3% of people consistently implement, a truth that Napoleon Hill discovered over 80 years ago, but that modern neuroscience has finally managed to prove irrefutably. What you will discover in the next few minutes is the exact 5-step protocol that Hill secretly developed to control cortisol and transform stress from a saboteur into an ally. This is not just another common self-help method. It's the precise system that separated industrial giants like Henry Ford and Andrew Carnegie from all the other intelligent and ambitious men who were left behind. And contrary to what most believe, you can implement this protocol starting today without special equipment or years of preparation. First step, recognize the invisible enemy. Cortisol, known as the stress hormone, is not just a modern inconvenience. Napoleon Hill identified this exact mechanism in 1937 when he wrote about the mysterious force that paralyzes the mind and prevents success. He observed that brilliant men, with all the necessary tools to win, consistently failed when subjected to constant pressure. Today we know that Hill was describing the neurological effects of elevated cortisol. When its levels remain high for prolonged periods, your brain literally shrinks in the areas responsible for decision-making, creativity, and long-term memory. It's like trying to drive a high-performance car with the parking brake on. Intro end, detro end. However, here's the crucial point that most people don't understand. Cortisol is not your enemy. It's like a hypersensitive alarm system that goes off at every noise, useful for survival but devastating for success. Hill discovered that great leaders don't have less stress in their lives. They simply mastered the art of transforming this alarm into fuel for high performance. Hill discovered that great leaders don't have less stress in their lives. They simply mastered the art of transforming this alarm into fuel for high performance. In his studies with more than 500 millionaires, Napoleon Hill noticed a fascinating pattern. They all followed what he called the morning clarity ritual, not by chance or superstition, but because they were unconsciously aligning their actions with the natural rhythm of cortisol. Cortisol has a specific pattern throughout the day. Naturally, it peaks in the early morning hours, preparing your body to face the day's challenges. This is your golden window for productivity and decision-making. But when this system is deregulated, this peak becomes a roller coaster of anxiety and mental dispersion. Hill discovered that successful men performed their most important tasks before 9 in the morning, when cortisol was naturally elevated but still controllable. It was like surfing the perfect wave. They rode this natural chemical energy instead of fighting against it. Thomas Edison followed this principle religiously. He would wake up at 5 in the morning and dedicate the first 4 hours of the day to the most challenging mental work. Not because he was disciplined, but because he was unconsciously surfing the natural cortisol wave. Third step, the 21-day breathing protocol. But here's where Hill's genius becomes clear. He not only observed the patterns, he developed a specific system to regulate them. What he called the mental concentration exercise was actually a breathing technique designed to reset the nervous system in exactly 21 days. 21 days is not an arbitrary number. It's the time necessary for your parasympathetic nervous system to develop new response patterns. Hill discovered this through pure observation, decades before neuroplasticity was understood by science. The protocol is simple but precise. For 21 consecutive days upon waking, before any external stimulus, you practice square breathing. Inhale for 4 seconds, hold for 4, exhale for 4, pause for 4. Repeat this cycle exactly 7 times. Why exactly 7 times? Hill discovered that this specific number created what he called a bridge between the conscious and subconscious mind. Imagine your nervous system as a wild horse. 7 cycles are precisely the time needed for it to recognize your authority and calm down. Modern neuroscience confirms this is the activation point of the vagus nerve, signaling to the brain that it's safe to lower its guard. Henry Ford implemented this protocol after meeting Hill personally. In his own words, it was the difference between operating in chaos and operating with absolute clarity. Ford reported that after just 2 weeks of practicing the technique, His morning meetings became dramatically more productive and his decisions more assertive. But don't stop there. Breathing is just the foundation. The true power of Hill's protocol comes when you combine this physiological base with the next two steps: cognitive reframing and kinesthetic anchoring. However, here's the crucial point that determines the success or failure of the entire protocol. They practice breathing for a few days, feel a subtle improvement, and then abandon it because they don't understand that they're building a foundation, not waiting for an immediate miracle. It's like expecting a gym to transform your body after 2 sessions. The power lies in consistency, not initial intensity. The cortisol sabotaging your success today didn't appear overnight. It was built through months or years of uncontrolled stress patterns. Deconstructing it requires the same patience and consistency that was necessary to build it. Remember, you are not just breathing. You are literally reprogramming your nervous system to operate in high-performance mode instead of survival mode. With each conscious breath cycle, you are sending a clear signal to your brain. I am in control. I am safe. I can think clearly. Andrew Carnegie, the richest man of his time, told Hill that this breathing protocol was more valuable than any business technique I have ever learned. Not because it was complicated, but because it attacked the root of the problem instead of the symptoms. When your cortisol is regulated, your mind functions as it was designed to function. You make decisions based on logic, not fear. You see opportunities where others see problems. You act with confidence instead of hesitating out of insecurity. But here's what most people don't understand about Hill's protocol. The next 2 steps are where true transformation happens, because regulating cortisol is just the first stage. The second stage is reprogramming your mental response to stress, and the third is anchoring these new responses permanently in your body. And it's precisely in this transition between physiological regulation and mental reprogramming that most people stumble. And here's where 90% of people fail. They implement the breathing protocol, feel the first results, and then commit the fatal mistake of trying to accelerate the process. It's like trying to drive a Formula 1 car without mastering the brakes. Speed without control leads to disaster. They skip steps. They add unnecessary complexity. Or worse, they stop practicing because they think they've already fixed the problem. Hill was very clear about this. The protocol works precisely because it is simple and because it is followed in the exact sequence. Each step prepares the nervous system for the next. There are no shortcuts. In the next few minutes, you'll discover exactly how Hill structured steps 4 and 5 of the protocol, including the anchoring technique that Carnegie used to maintain a high-performance state even during the most intense financial market crises. But before we continue, you need to make a decision. Are you going to be another person who consumes information without implementing, or are you going to be someone who finally takes control of the system that has been determining your results for years? Because what you're about to learn isn't theory. It's the exact system that separated the industrial giants of the American Golden Era from all other intelligent and ambitious men who were left behind. The difference between them and you isn't the knowledge they possessed. It's the courage to implement consistently, even when results aren't immediate. Your moment is now. The next part of this protocol will reveal why some men can maintain mental clarity even under extreme pressure, while others crumble at the first real difficulty. And more importantly, how you can develop this same mental resilience starting today. That barrier I mentioned, it's exactly what Hill called the final test of persistence. You've already invested time and energy in understanding the first 3 steps. Now the real work begins, and what you're about to discover in the next steps will surprise you. Now that we've established the physiological foundation with breathing, let's explore how to mentally reprogram your stress responses. 4. The power of applied neuroplasticity. Here's the crucial point. Your brain is constantly reorganizing itself. Each thought you choose, each action you take, literally sculpts new neural connections. Hill didn't know this science, but he intuitively understood that the mind is a magnet that attracts what you consistently focus on. Modern neuroscience has proven Hill was right. Dr. Rick Hansen, a Harvard neuroscientist, demonstrated that when you deliberately focus on positive experiences for just 20 seconds, you strengthen the neural circuits associated with optimism and confidence. It's like forging your character like steel in fire. Thomas Edison didn't just imagine the incandescent light bulb. He dedicated specific moments of the day to visualizing each component working perfectly. He faced 1,000 failed attempts, but each failure only reinforced his internal conviction. Because Edison had trained his brain to see success as inevitable. Here's your fourth action. Dedicate exactly 10 minutes every morning to visualizing your goal as already accomplished. But don't just see, feel the emotions, hear the sounds, perceive the sensory details. Your subconscious is like a camera that doesn't distinguish between a film and reality. It records everything as a true experience. The more vivid the mental experience, the more powerful the neural programming you're installing. 5. The Strategic Affirmation Protocol. Napoleon Hill discovered that common affirmations fail because they lack emotion and specificity. "I will be successful" is too vague. Your brain needs absolute clarity to know exactly what to create. Henry Ford revolutionized the automotive industry not just with vision, but with a specific formula he repeated daily: "I will produce an automobile for the masses, sold at a price so low that every working man will be able to own one." This precision guided every decision, every innovation, every hiring. The science of psychoneuroimmunology confirms that specific and emotionally charged affirmations alter brain chemistry. Dr. Deepak Chopra documented that people who practice structured affirmations for exactly 21 consecutive days increase serotonin levels by 23%, the neurotransmitter of confidence and well-being. It's like reprogramming your brain's software line by line. Your fifth action is to create your personal purpose statement. It must include exactly 3 elements: precisely what you want, by when you will achieve it, and the value you will offer in exchange. For example, by December 2024, I will build an online business that generates $50,000 monthly, offering personal development courses that transform the lives of at least 1,000 people per month. Write this statement and read it aloud every morning and every night. Emotional repetition imprints this program into your subconscious. Hill called this directed autosuggestion. Neuroscience calls it self-directed neuroplasticity. However, here's the crucial point. Knowledge without application is merely intellectual entertainment. The great industrialists, inventors, and visionaries who transformed our world did not choose the easy path. They took principles like these and applied them obsessively until they became second nature. John D. Rockefeller didn't become the wealthiest man in America by accident. He had a specific morning routine, visualizing his refineries operating with precision, affirming his exact financial goals, and then taking the first concrete action of the day before 7 a.m. every day. For decades, it was like a master watchmaker, adjusting the gears of his mind before turning on the machine. Andrew Carnegie didn't build his steel empire with business strategy alone. He programmed his mind to see opportunities where others saw problems. When the US economy entered a recession in 1873, Carnegie saw the perfect opportunity to buy steel equipment at reduced prices and hire the most talented engineers available. While others saw a storm, he saw fertile ground. And just as they faced obstacles and transformed challenges into springboards, you too can reprogram your reality, but only if you systematically apply these 5 steps. Remember, your mind is the most valuable asset you possess. The difference between those who live mediocre lives and those who create extraordinary legacies isn't innate talent or luck. It lies in the discipline of programming your mind for success through consistent daily actions. Doubt, fear, and exhaustion may whisper softly that you abandon your path, but now you have the protocol that Hill discovered and modern neuroscience has validated. You have the same mental tools that Edison, Ford, Carnegie, and Rockefeller used to transform visions into empires. Recapping your complete mental programming protocol. First, define your goal with surgical precision. Second, write a detailed plan with specific deadlines. Third, develop absolute faith through daily mental repetition. Fourth, practice multi-sensory visualization for exactly 10 minutes every morning. Fifth, create and repeat your personal purpose statement twice a day. These aren't just motivational concepts. They're neural engineering tools based on both Hill's timeless wisdom and cutting-edge neuroscience. When you master this protocol, you not only change your results, you transform your identity. Your subconscious mind is recording every word of this conversation. It's waiting for your commands. It's ready to reorganize your neural reality according to the instructions you provide. What will you decide? Will you continue letting random mental patterns and inherited limitations dictate your future? Or will you take total control of your mental software and program it for extraordinary success? Hill spent 25 years studying the secrets of the most successful minds in history. He condensed decades of research into practical principles. Modern neuroscience took 50 years to scientifically prove what Hill had intuitively discovered. You have arrived here because you recognized that stress is sabotaging your results. Now you possess the complete protocol we promised at the beginning, the exact 5 steps that separated industrial titans from all other intelligent and ambitious individuals. You have access to both the ancestral protocol and modern scientific validation. The question is not whether it works. The question is whether you will honor the time you invested here by applying this knowledge. If this protocol resonated with your experience, if you recognize the sabotage pattern that has limited your results, then your next action will define your future. Start with the first step immediately after finishing this video. Practice square breathing today, because your mind is already reorganizing based on what you discovered here. Every second of hesitation allows old cortisol patterns to re-establish themselves. Every moment of conscious action directs you towards the version of yourself that controls stress instead of being controlled by it. The same neural principles that enabled Edison, Ford, Carnegie, and Rockefeller to transform visions into empires are available to manifest your dreams today. The only difference between you and them was not luck or circumstance. It was the discipline of applying transformative knowledge consistently, even when results were not immediate. Think about this. You invested these minutes here because something within you knew it was possible to break the cycle of stress that has limited your potential. That instinct was correct. The protocol you now hold in your hands has already transformed countless lives across generations. Your subconscious has recorded every word of this conversation. Your neuroplasticity is already active, waiting for the instructions you will provide through your next actions. The extraordinary future you desire isn't far away. It's within reach through the discipline to reprogram your mental patterns starting today. The difference between knowledge and transformation is action. Between where you are now and where you want to be, there is only one bridge: the consistent implementation of these 5 steps. Your moment to begin is now.